So if we value education the way that we talk about it, the way the story is presented in our country, then we have to make a pathway that is both affordable, that has a clear ROI, that's a news story that's like, this is how this is going to contribute to future generations, right? So that people are inspired to do this, not because they're like terrified that their kids aren't going to have a job, terrified my kid's not going to be successful. I'll tell you what, if you're coddling your kid now all the way up until the time they go to college, they're not going to be successful. Yeah. They're going to be a hot fucking mess. You know what they're going to blame for it? You. You're like, but I did all this stuff for you. Yeah, stop. Like, let them suffer a little bit, you know, like the old days, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying beat them. Let them suffer a little bit. Like let them figure out. Like, that's why, like I've said, I'm raising my kids as Brown fans because I'm like, life does not turn out the way you want it to.
Do you see what they have a water bottle and they suck all the air out of the water bottle and it shrinks? Do your kids do that?
Yeah. And then they're like,
my older two do that. What are you doing? Did I not teach you how to drink water properly?
Well, let's be honest. Do we ever really take a moment and teach our kids how to drink water properly? Yeah. Do we even know how to drink water properly?
We're failing our children.
Do you know who does know how to drink water properly?
Who's that?
Deer.
Elephants. Okay.
I think we just need to go to watering holes.
Yeah. Why do elephants drink it properly? Because they use the trunk, right?
Yeah, they use a trunk.
Why do deer drink it?
Because they use their neck.
What do you mean their neck?
They have to point their neck down.
Okay. Like a dog.
Or like a deer.
Do deer drink better than dogs?
Definitely. You know how dogs are.
Yeah, all over the place.
They're riddled with problems because they're domesticated wolves.
Oh my gosh.
So their stomachs flip if they drink too fast.
They're all mental right now. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the wolves?
We talk about mental health. People? What about dogs? Not good.
Well, as two people right here who are not experts in this at all, I think we should absolutely discuss it.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
What's your take? You said they're over domesticated. They've been given too much. They're entitled.
Definitely. My dog's very entitled.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes from champion breed, you know, like a champion line, which, you know, in this
virtue signaling
obscure breed, is very elitist.
He's elitist? Very judgmental?
No. He's oblivious.
Okay.
I'm elitist.
Okay.
There's a big difference.
It works together. That's where the chemistry's, that's where it happens.
Yeah, that's why me and my dog get along so well.
I get it.
He's oblivious. I'm elitist. I'm pretty sure he thinks I created him. And I'm not really interested in trying to convince him otherwise.
Yeah.
I do want him to think I'm God.
Does he follow you around?
He's 130 pounds. I need him to think that I'm God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a sweetheart.
I get it.
And I'm not overcompensating.
Is he a good water drinker?
He drinks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd say he's good. On average, at the average dog, well, he was at risk of stomach flipping, but then we got that shit tacked when we took his nuts.
Okay.
I'm a cruel God.
Yeah.
That's the conclusion I'm leading to right now.
The creator.
I don't think I like myself when it comes to being God over my dog. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just stuff that one deep down inside. I compartmentalize very well.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So
a little bit more about you.
Yeah. Can we talk all about me? I'd appreciate that.
Let's do this, the Jared episode.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about ChatGPT. Fuck ChatGPT.
Because if we keep doing it, then they're going to think we're some sort of AI experts and whatever.
No, I don't think anybody's thinking that at all.
Oh, no, they are. You've seen YouTube comments. We have like fans, we have haters. That's good. I like it.
I like the haters.
Yeah.
No, I want more hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want somebody to tell me, like, oh, you're so smart. I'm like, that seems sarcastic.
They're like,
clearly I'm not.
We're idiots.
Right. But we say that. Just like, tell me something we don't know.
Right. So it's so funny to say that people are like judging it based on, well, hold on a second. Like, we agree.
Yeah.
We're on the same team here. We're morons.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing too, right?
We all are.
Like, I'm representing for my team here because I want more hate.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Same.
This is going to get passionate love and it's going to get passionate hate.
I like it.
But passion is what I'm after.
Let's stay there for a bit.
Let's stay there.
Because we have a little sports brand over here, so we can...
Very little. It's so small. And
no, it's just small. That's like, you did it like Donald Trump does it. He's like, it's just little tiny.
No, I've got to be more like mechanical
little
from Donald
hands.
Trump.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, as we build the podcast as we go, which we talk about a lot,
right?
We're going to take a clip of this episode. Julian, this is for you. We're going to talk about sports for about the next, I have no idea. I'd say 10 minutes, but people say it could be any amount of time, right?
And at least from my side, it's going to be the most ignorant commentary on my side. That's okay.
Fine, but it's sports.
But I'm self-aware enough to admit that.
But we can relate it back to earlier episodes because we talked a lot about NFL Sunday Ticket.
Yeah.
And you had said it was going to be Amazon. I had said Apple.
Mm-hmm. And we're both wrong.
It was Google, YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we were close. I heard Apple was very much in the running for this.
And I said it doesn't match their brand. And I was right.
But no, they were good. But you know what what they wanted to do is they wanted to charge a low cost for their product, because what do they want to sell? iPhones,
right?
Devices, iPads, right? So they didn't care. Say, hey, they could give that thing away for $50, and they would just sell more product. The NFL was like, we're charging some real money for this product. I pulled it up just to see it. I forgot. Have you seen the pricing of NFL Sunday Ticket?
I've been getting the ads like, hey, lock this in. I'm thinking, why would I pay for NFL Sunday Ticket now just to wait for the...
Because it's $100 off. So that's why.
$100 off. But I'm still paying month to month to month before it even shows up, right?
No. Well, at the end of the day, if you do not have YouTube TV, we'll just call this with the Red Zone channel. So if you're buying the full package, it's $489. That's like at the end of the day, after the discount, if you're not a YouTube TV subscriber, it's $489.
Holy shit. $400. That's more than it was with Direct TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Apple wanted to go the other way. Direct TV wanted to, they were what, 300 something probably?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. So the thing that we were all excited about is it was going to stream. You can just watch your own teams and you could do all this, and it was going to be more cost effective, but they're going way up.
It's more expensive. The streaming is going to probably be, people have complained about YouTube. I have YouTube TV. I do like it. People complain about the streaming, and I don't know. Like they've had issues with live sporting events, I guess, where it lags.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? The voices might be off. I don't know. But that could be my Roku as well.
It could be.
$489, full price. If you do it in the pre-sale, it's $100 off to $389. But if you're a YouTube customer, it'll be $289. So it's $100. So they're just doing it $489. We're going to need like a mathematician in here.
Yeah, this is difficult.
$489, all in, Red Zone channel, you get everything.
Mm-hmm. But what's the Red Zone channel? Like, what is that, just commentary?
Jeez, yeah, you really don't know.
I don't give a shit about half these fuckers commentary. I mean, I swear to God, like, you watch Thursday Night Football, it's like, oh yeah, it starts at 8, and they're fucking talking for an hour. Yeah. And I'm like, you're just a bunch of morons. It's like listening to us.
Right.
But our audio's better.
Oh, our audio's so much better.
So much better.
Better than Amazon's. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Red Zone's just a bunch of people commentating.
No,
Red Zone. They're always wrong.
So they go into the Red Zone. They're about to score. So they take the game. There's no commercials. And you just watch. And it's just important plays throughout the game. Typically scoring plays in the Red Zone, highlights, what have you. Hey, let's go into the Browns-Packers game. And Deshaun Dotson's about to score, right?
Yeah.
So as it's 3rd and 2 from the 7, they go and show you that play. As soon as that play ends, they're going to see the Buffalo-Miami game, and Josh Allen is on the 17-yard line, 1st and 10, and they're going to show you that play.
So it's like YouTube Shorts, but for teams. You've never
seen this. Wow, that's
amazing.
I don't
give a shit.
Yeah. So you do not know what the Red Zone channel is?
No, because I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Red Zone channel.
Yeah.
All in, $489.
There's only so much time that I can dedicate to certain things.
I think people are going to use our podcast as a resource to figure out what they want to buy.
Well, so the Red Zone is the total package.
Yeah.
Do you know what else is the total package?
You are. Yeah. That's it.
I'd pay $489 for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Can we just sit on that one for a second?
We could.
I'm not trying to make it awkward.
Yeah. You just did.
But I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to try. It came natural because I'm naturally awkward.
Back to you, Eric.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can just buy the Cleveland Browns for $50 or $100. It would be more. It'd be a lot.
And you know what? I'd spend that $100 and I would regret it at the end of the season. You know why? Because the Browns are going to brown. But you know what? We don't give a shit. We know. Like if the Browns were to actually go to the Super Bowl, they'd still fuck it up somehow. I don't know. But that's okay. The way I kind of look at this, let's get philosophical for a second about Browns fans. It's not the destination, i.e. the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
And we live in a perpetual journey. And one day, we believe they'll get to that destination. But until then, we are hooked on the second most addictive drug, right behind adrenaline. And that's hope.
Yeah.
That's what we're addicted to.
Yeah.
But we're also very realistic. Like, we hope, we have low expectations.
Yeah.
That's a mental health issue. Being a Browns fan increases negative mental health instances by 46%, according to the latest NFL Gallup poll.
Is that for real?
No, of course it's not. I fucking made it up. Or ChatGPT told
You
me.
got it out pretty good. Maybe.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've given very little thought to this, but I do believe deeply that what I just said is accurate
Yeah.
based on no scientific data whatsoever.
Yeah. You've a lot of anecdotal evidence, I bet.
Oh, yeah. But not even anecdotal. I haven't asked anybody.
Yeah.
I just pulled it out of my ass. It would be acidotal.
Yeah.
That one doesn't work.
You could be a swag. Isn't that a scientific wild ass guess? But it's not scientific. So it's just a wag. Going back to the dog analogy.
Oh, I like that.
Wow.
Look at that full circle.
Shit.
We're getting good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we got some good hate comments on this one right here, right now.
Yeah. Bengals fans.
Yeah.
They don't like you.
No.
Steelers fans. Who dislikes the Browns more? Bengals or Steelers?
Steelers. Oh, by far.
Yeah. Ravens don't because that's your team.
Like that's just an issue of Art Modell being a dick and selling off this terrible performing franchise to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting how that shit works.
You know, and it's probably better to ask other Browns fans. I mean, I'm not from Cleveland. I was raised on the Browns because my dad's from Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm an Army brat, so I moved around everywhere. So I have no real loyalty, but I do have one loyalty.
Mm.
Yeah. It's fickle, but it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole moving of teams is a big deal. Like Oakland A's. I don't know if you've seen this. Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, have been for years.
Sorry, something was in that.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Celsius drink. This can't be good for you.
Yeah, there's like little chunks of little bits of something there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be either.
Yeah.
If I fall over,
Yeah.
please do call 911.
No, I'll just keep going. And then when I'm done, I'm done recording, I'll call.
Well, you've got so much more to say.
That could go viral.
It could go viral.
Yeah.
With me falling over, whatever.
The Oakland A's are moving to Las Vegas. So everybody wants to move. So he's underspent, the owner. Underspent, terrible stadium, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The Raiders, they move.
Yep.
The A's, they've moved. So it's like they've taken all the teams out.
Well, it's because everybody's fleeing California.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, it's not good for business.
Well, not all California.
No.
San Diego's doing.
California's a big state. It's easy to forget. It's just like New York.
They should split the state up. Have you talked to people from Southern versus Northern California?
Very different.
Yeah. Different politics, ideologies.
You get outside of the big cities and it's nothing but like hardcore conservatives. Yeah. I mean, they're very much like, I will shoot you if you come on my land.
Kind of like when you get outside of the big cities in any state.
Any state, yeah. But California is more of a stark difference because you're so used to California being like the liberal beacon on the hill, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like that's at least, in the media sphere, that's the way it's presented.
Yeah.
They're kind of like poster child for overregulated, overly bureaucratic, bloated budgets, always in debt, but they have the highest taxes. I mean, it's just a hot mess. It's the poster child for just wasteful spending.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they still can't, and there's all the extreme weather events as well.
Yeah, it's tough.
So people are just leaving, and then in cities like Los Angeles, the crime is out of control. They've got really strict gun laws. Like what happens in LA and Seattle and in Portland wouldn't happen here because criminals or those that are just like carrying out random acts of violence, they also know that a good portion of this population is armed. So it makes you think twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't have that in California or in Los Angeles, New York City. Holy shit. The crime rate in New York City is just going through the roof.
Yeah.
They got such strict gun laws. Like, well, you can't conceal carry or do anything to protect yourself. So it's just like only criminals will have a gun on this subway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to start slapping and beating people at random or pushing them in front of trains. I'm not speaking experientially here.
Yeah, nothing.
But, I track on some of this stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about cities. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you think it's the fact that other people are carrying that's going to prevent other people from committing violence?
It's not the only thing. I'm not toting an ideological line.
Because it's kind of like Gotham City, right? Like, it's just things that go bad in the city.
Right. So the vast majority of home break-ins take place when somebody's not home.
Yeah. They want no violence.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because you want to find like what's an easy target, easy entry, frictionless as much as possible. Usually if somebody's breaking into a home and you're home, they didn't know you were home.
Right.
Right. Now, if somebody's knows you're home and they're breaking anyway, they're probably cracked out.
Yeah.
Meth head, whatever it might be.
Have you heard about the Chileans? So they're in major cities, very wealthy cities they're going to. They're sending people up from their country. I don't know who's behind it all, right? But there's a crime organization. And they're robbing people in cities like Charlotte, like in nice neighborhoods. They're going to mansions and they're robbing them. They don't want any violence. They just want easy, untraceable stuff that they can take, jewelry, things like that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is like a Chilean operation?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know about it either.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, though, one guy was, when he was robbing the house, it's like a New York Post, maybe, not New York Times.
No,
of course not. Not that we're like valuing the New York Times either.
No.
Like, they all suck.
They do. All of them suck. There's good journalists here.
Yeah. But so the guy's robbing him. Yeah. He didn't realize that the homeowner came home while he was doing it, and he knew some shit, and he kicked the living shit out. He like took him to the brink of death.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't care. Because that's what you do. If you're a crime lord, you don't go front lines.
Yeah.
Why would you do such a thing?
I don't know, man.
That's some good power to be a crime lord. I mean, it's going to end eventually, not well, probably.
No,
some
I agree.
torture involved, but you probably had a good run.
Well, unless that was your first go, then it's like, maybe you should reconsider this.
Well,
as a career.
Probably they were selling drugs at a young age and, running around their schoolyard.
I mean, that's a good backstory. Yeah. If they were in school. I mean, let's get really depraved here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the age of 6, they were working in a factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a factory that was making parts for the iPhone for an American corporation. Oh, yeah. Let's like start to create this.
Probably the dad was. And he was treated unfairly, and he saw his dad getting beaten one day.
Yeah.
And so the kid was like, I vowed to.
By the security company hired by Apple.
Yeah.
Who's just like, this guy's mouthing off, wants to take extra 15 minutes, fucking beat him now.
Yeah.
But they said it, in a much.
The kid heard it. And
no, the kid didn't hear it. He just saw his dad coming home, opening the door, just beleaguered. He starts to have memories of his dad when his dad used to be like this guy who was full of life. Just had like this abundance. He was like, hey, and then Apple's like, we're going to put a new factory right here in this town in Chile. And just like, this is going to give us so much more opportunity. So I'm going to quit my job as a farmer. And he goes to work in the factory. And little by little, he notices his dad is fading away and becomes a zombie. Not a literal zombie, like, lifeless.
Yeah.
And he says, not me, not ever. Fuck it. I'm going to go take what's mine. And he goes to Charlotte. And then he goes to New York. And he goes to New York and he goes, that right there, I'm going to take out all of my anger on Apple and American corporations by hitting that house right there. Little does he know that the guy who lives in that house right there is about to take him for a deeply spiritual experience, near death, beats the fuck out of him, but chooses not to end his life because he looks in the guy's eyes and he realizes right there, the guy beating goes, and it's like all of a sudden in one shot, it's like he sees everything that happened in Chile with his father and everything else, but not the details. He just feels it. That's the human connection. Doesn't kill him. That's America.
Yeah. That's Batman.
Is it?
He doesn't kill.
Bullshit.
Yeah. He doesn't kill.
Those are some of the most violent movies.
They're very violent.
But he doesn't kill.
I've just watched the trilogy again with my daughter, the Christian Bale one.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're on to the Robert Pattinson one. That's some dark psychological stuff. I think we talked about that last year. But yeah, you like...
Maybe. But, I've got short-term memory.
Yeah, it's okay. You had to go listen back to that episode. But no, but he doesn't kill him. But, we're thinking like in the movie with the Joker.
Yeah.
He has a run in early on in the movie. He has a very clean opportunity to just take the Joker out.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to end the Joker's life. Like, let's just think through this real quick.
Okay.
He keeps him alive. He goes to prison. Joker wanted to get caught. It was all part of the master plan.
Yeah.
Had he just dropped the Joker on his head and just ended his life.
Talking about the Lego Batman movie?
Well, that's a good one. It's the same movie.
It is.
Go rewatch the two movies. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Storyline, plots, good stuff. Different Batman, but you get what I'm saying.
I do.
By not killing the Batman, he sacrifices a lot of other lives later on.
You mean by not killing the Joker?
I'm sorry, jeez.
Because the Batman killing the Batman,
that would have been.
Although they do seem to be moving into that realm of about the multiverse.
Flash, that's coming out.
That's right, and it's very much a multiverse type deal.
I can't just don't even edit that because that's what makes us who we are.
Yeah,
mistakes, errors. No, but like if he would have killed the Joker, so many innocent people would have survived.
Right, but he has to live up to his code.
By the way, so when shit got really bad, and Commissioner Gordon, right? So they in one of the movies. The Joker, I think it's the Joker. It might have been Bane. I don't know. Either way, takes Commissioner Gordon's family and like threatens to end them. And, it's actually Harvey Dent, whatever. Doesn't matter. she comes back. She's so upset because Gordon's so invested into like what's happening here.
This is good. No, come on.
I'm getting to my point here.
I'm on it, man. I'm tracking with you the whole way.
So Gordon's family is so upset. The wife's so upset. So later on, I think it was maybe in the next movie, Gordon's family's not there anymore. They moved. Do you know where they moved to?
Charlotte.
Cleveland.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So they went from Gotham to Cleveland, a fictitious shithole of a city, to a real shithole of a city. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I love Cleveland, though.
I mean, you watch Batman Begins. My daughter and I were saying, like, why is anyone still in Gotham? Get the fuck out.
Seriously.
Why would you stay in the city?
Yeah.
I mean, they just tried to drive a train to end civilization, at least in that city, right through the heart of Wayne Enterprises. And you decided to say, no, this city stands for something. Really?
Yeah.
Get out. Well, so you said, if there's a shooter, don't try to be a hero. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, definitely. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you were in a position where you have to engage.
Yeah.
And again, we're just talking hypotheticals.
100%.
Nobody knows what you'd actually fucking do.
No.
I love all these guys, you know, who are not soldiers or have any kind of law enforcement background or anything. They're like, I'll tell you what I would do. You know, if some guy came into this, I'm like, yeah, right. You shit your pants and you fall over and you would miss and probably kill bystanders.
Oof.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because you never trained with your weapon.
Should have gone to Cleveland.
You should have gone to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
That's so amazing.
I think we're going to come up with some new branding for Cleveland. Although Cleveland's doing well as a city.
Oh, okay.
They used to be a shithole. They're doing great.
Yeah. It's all in fun.
It is, yeah.
Guardians. The Guardians are doing well.
Who are the Guardians?
The baseball team. They call them the Guardians now.
Man. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Guarantee you no Native American tribes actually petitioned for that change. It was probably just a bunch of very rich white liberals.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? This is very offensive. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we should look that up. Probably.
Yeah. Right.
We should fact check. We need a fact checker. The fact checker would have the worst job in this country if he worked for us.
Do you know who doesn't get offended?
Yeah.
Are the Irish. Because they just know, like, we know where we are.
Yeah. You have a little Irish in you?
Very little, which is great.
Because you can't say that if you didn't.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can make fun of the Irish all day long. We thought our family had a lot more Irish in it. I think I was telling you about this. We knew we had a lot of Scottish. So my mother's side is, you know, the Scandinavian, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Denmark, all of that.
Good people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny to think they used to be like, well, at least, again, not the whole culture, but a lot of raping and pillaging and all that kind of stuff. And then they're like one of the most.
Didn't everyone do that?
Yes, of course they did. And then even more of a violent culture in my history is the Scottish.
Oh, yeah.
That's the majority of my blood, like 49%. I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that high, but we thought we had more Irish. Then we did the DNA test and I was like, I got 4% Irish. I was like, sweet. Now I can make fun of the Irish because that's a thing. And I'm mostly Scottish.
Yeah.
Which means, you know, we stuff our emotions deep down inside.
Yeah.
We explode and then we're over it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of stereotypes. But I'm trying to break past a lot of this.
But you're kind of like Clevelandish now, like 100%, 50%.
Clevelandish?
Yeah.
That's not a thing. You're a moron. That's not.
Yeah. We just said Cleveland's doing well. So I pulled up the stat. So, you know, pandemic recovery of downtown cities.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you want to start on the top or the bottom?
Oh, this will be fun.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Okay.
Top or bottom? What do you
Top as in?
Like, what's 3 cities, or just name some cities that are fastest to recovery?
What kind of metrics are we using here? Or
real estate, office space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would actually presume that these would be the ones that were growing because everybody's fleeing the fucking craziness of like New York City, Los Angeles, and so on. So I'd say number 1 top of the list would be, and it's stupid, but Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
I'd put them up at the top just only because they had the largest influx of new residents during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because they are in the middle of a water crisis. Arizona is in general, and probably will continue to be. And I think ultimately that whole area will be uninhabitable because politicians and lawmakers and other people can't get their shit together to fix the fucking infrastructure.
Okay.
No, it's a hot mess. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little hot on water.
I can see that. Yeah, we had that conversation
it's just stupid.
before.
I mean, water has been either the primary or the secondary reason. Like the mismanagement of water is what has brought down every major empire throughout human history.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending some time there.
You should.
Yeah.
Just go out there and look at how much fucking water they're wasting on golf courses.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Now they won't even, the city of Scottsdale, I think, is no longer transporting water to some of these towns that are like maybe 20 miles out that they relied on because there was no water available.
You mentioned in Scottsdale.
And they said, no, we're not going to do that anymore.
When you look at downtown, so Phoenix on the list, they're in the middle. So 61% recovery.
Okay, well, yeah, let's get back to that.
No, but that's not awful. So Phoenix is in the middle.
Okay.
Because they have Tempe, they have Scottsdale, they have Phoenix, and they have other underlying town. So the downtown area of Phoenix is not, it's still significant, right?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. But we're talking about the downtown, like uptown Charlotte type of places, like where the office space is, that type of recovery. So Phoenix is there.
So Phoenix is there. So then others, Austin, Texas.
You think is what?
I would say that they're up. Again, I'm just going off of of people I know and just stats of people that were fleeing California. So I'm looking at this flight from California.
They're below Phoenix, so they're in the middle, but trending more
I
on the
wouldn't think
bottom.
they're as high as Phoenix. I would also say I would put either Charlotte or Raleigh or both up there too. We had a lot of people coming in here. The Southeast did extremely well.
Charlotte's right next to Phoenix, about.
There you go.
In the middle.
And then
in the middle.
Raleigh, the triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. No, didn't make it.
Maybe they're not big enough somehow.
Maybe they were just too liberal and locked everything down.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Anybody watching this think, oh, he must be a hard right conservative. No, I'm not.
I'll give you some clues. The number one makes a lot of sense. Like one of the nicest cities, probably very expensive, great weather year round.
Ooh.
They have a lot of things to do.
Great weather year round. Lots of things to go. It's an East Coast or Southeastern. Oh, it's on the West Coast?
No humidity.
Denver.
That'd be a good one.
But I don't think that's true.
Denver's in the middle with Charlotte and Phoenix. Recovery. They probably got hit because everyone got hit and they just immediately said, screw it, we're good. Like 99% recovery. Like they're back to where they were.
Ooh.
It's not a huge city, but it's tough. West Coast. It's in the state. I've already used the name once today, or the word, or the city name.
Oakland?
Oakland is not.
I'm just kidding. That's a show.
No. I mean, no. People love Oakland. We have a podcast that
but it's been crumbling long before.
They've had their issues, but very prideful city.
San Diego?
Yeah. Number one.
I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah. Just took you 12 minutes to get to it, but that's okay.
I don't think it was 12 minutes, but yeah, whatever.
And I'll just list off the other two because you're not going to get these two. Baltimore's 2.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Columbus, Ohio is 3.
Huh.
Columbus is a big city.
Let's talk about Baltimore for a second.
Vegas is 4. New York City's 5. That could be skewed. Someone paid some money to get that one on the list.
Well, it's kind of like if you're at the bottom of the barrel, you only have one place to go, and that's up. So that's what I'm thinking about Baltimore.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law and his family lived in Baltimore, Towson, but right on the edge of Baltimore there. And, he worked for T. Rowe Price, one of the biggest companies there. And
yeah, I do want to throw this caveat in there, and we can share the link to this article. Percent recovered compared to pre-pandemic based on, this could kill the whole thing.
I think it will.
Cell phone data.
The fuck?
How do you do that? Like based on phone calls and text messages that are, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, this is easy. The bottom 3 are going to be a little bit easier for you. That's what I was thinking. Who's the worst?
San Francisco.
Yeah, that's 31% recovery.
Seattle and Portland.
Portland's not the second worst.
Yeah. Seattle.
No, you know the other one. You're wearing it.
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Did not recover.
Yeah. They're number 3, which is weird because based on percentages, they should be the second worst, but they put Portland down there because
based on cell phone data.
Based on cell phone data.
Well, Portland makes sense because they don't actually have the money to buy cell phones.
Governmental studies, UC Berkeley.
Oh.
Yeah, Berkeley got in there.
Right, we could just make a conspiracy. Oh, well, it's UC Berkeley.
Yeah. Oh, they have a lot of problems there.
Of course.
If you're like a big time conservative and you go and speak there and you're trying to go watch them speak, we talked about it.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of
the
fragile
American
kids
mind.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, you get your ass kicked.
I don't know about getting your ass actually kicked.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Go read the book
That's
again.
Why every speaker
the
should learn
coddling
to
of
fight.
the American mind. That was...
I know. No, I've got it the audiobook. I've listened to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you know me.
Maybe you should read it next time.
No, man, it's read by the author. It's really good.
I'm not judging. Yeah.
It's okay to judge. You can judge me.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, he talks about speakers going there and they had to like remove the speaker to a third party location. Then they found out where he was.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But did he actually get beat?
No, like if you were the student, I want to go listen to, I don't know, I'm just interested in all sides, like whatever.
Remember we were talking about this before.
Get your ass kicked.
There's a lot of these like, temper tantrum throwing kids.
Ugh.
At a certain point, like once they get punched in the face, then they're going to like, oh shit, I guess,
Well, people are upset. So he talked a lot about words versus actual violence. And you've talked about this too. Of course. You two should sit in a room together.
Yeah,
maybe he should be your co-host.
No, man, I can never replace you. You're the total package.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the red zone.
Yeah.
And Sunday ticket.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
But violence or like words. So if you choose to accept those words as violence, then you will be like, and that was a whole speech, right? That was big.
Yeah.
I think it was someone in Obama's cabinet that said that, which is interesting.
And it's so sad that that's what's considered profound these days, because it's like, how far have we fallen?
Yeah.
Where you can conflate.
People are sensitive.
These words are violence.
Yeah.
But silence is violence. I'm like, no, getting punched in the fucking mouth is violence. That's violence.
Yeah.
You know, and then people being able to say, oh, I can justify physical violence because they use words that are also considered violence.
Yeah. I will say words can lead to violence, right? Words can lead to bad things.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
There's something I'd like to bring up. I mean, it's a historical example.
Okay.
It's more like historical wisdom. And I think everybody who's kind of caught in the middle of this debate needs to remember this is foundational to who we are, at least in America.
This could be good.
Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I'd drop this mic if it wasn't hooked up to the stand.
Yeah. You pick it up, you like struggle getting out of there.
Ow. Did you glue this?
Sticks and stones you said.
Sticks and stones.
Wasn't it may break my bones and names will never hurt me, but you changed it a little bit.
Words will never hurt me.
But names.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Names will never hurt me.
That was the thing.
No.
That was it. Yeah.
So you got the watered down version.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
That was the Western New York version.
Probably.
You get the Army Brat version.
I just got, maybe it was the Army Brat version.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think there's any Army Brat version.
No, there's not.
Like you killed the wisdom that I just dropped. Let me do it again.
I'm
Sticks
sorry.
and stones may break my bones.
Sorry, it's okay.
Because I'm not always guaranteed to break your bones. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been hit by sticks and stones and they didn't break anything. It hurt.
Yeah.
But words will never hurt me. And if they do, I'll never show you that hurt.
Yeah.
I will go to my room. I will cry like a baby. And I'll slap myself in the face. I will judge myself harshly.
That's good.
And I'll do what everybody who has a lot of Scottish in their bloodline does. We stuff it deep down inside and I'll let it come out when I'm mad at my children.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
Well, it's better that you didn't go home and pull up Facebook and Twitter and get all upset and start commenting on stuff and telling people that no one watches your videos because you suck.
Yeah.
Because that could drive more anger. And then you're mad at the world. And then you're mad at YouTubers that you've never met before.
I'm really just glad I'm just not really interested in all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm above it. We can all fall to pathetic levels of trolling, but I haven't fallen there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all our haters.
Oh, yeah.
To all the haters out there.
Yeah.
This one's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't pretend to know everything.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it. It's not even acting. It's just honesty.
Oh, no. I've been playing a character this entire time.
Yeah.
If I were to really be myself, not only would the audience hate it, you'd hate it.
That'd be awful.
I'd hate it the most.
Yeah. I like Podcast Jared the most.
I do too.
Like, what was it? Garbage Pail Kids? Like,
I love the Garbage Pail Kids.
But I know you have to have the same name with Jay or whatever, but like, no, it's Podcasting Jared.
Do you still have Garbage Pail Kids?
The cards? I don't. Do you do?
I thought I did. But I think my parents threw those away, which was a real shame.
Yeah. Garage sale.
I don't know, man. Those things were great. They were disgusting. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss them.
Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about UC Berkeley before, so we can talk a little bit about education. You went there a few times last time.
I just feel like I'm playing the greatest hits
I
now.
got stats. I got information. I read an article yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Class of 23. This is the high school senior class.
Yeah.
1.6 million applications versus 1 million in 2020.
To what? College?
To just, yes. Crazy numbers. Crazy growth.
Yeah.
Right? Do you get it? Does it make sense to you?
1.6 million.
Well, that wouldn't make sense.
As opposed to
1.6 billion?
College applications?
Yeah.
No, 1.6 million makes sense. 1.6 billion is, you're talking about worldwide? I'm confused with these stats.
This is American.
Yeah. Say it American.
Yeah. College class of 23. Yeah, that's what it is.
You weren't even typing. You were just bullshitting there. What?
Because you have to keep talking. And
sorry, I'm just trying to make it really, really uncomfortable for you.
No, I'm good. I'm not blushing yet.
Yeah.
Class of 23, right?
Yeah. If I can't attack the data, I'm going to attack the messenger.
You attack somebody.
With words.
That was 2020.
Non-violently.
Yeah.
Class of 2020. Yeah, but think about it. Class of 2020 is going to a pandemic.
2020.
Compare 2018 to 2023.
I can't because I don't have those numbers.
How do they not have those numbers? Did they just start tracking this?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's kind of an obvious point.
But applications are up.
According to who? College administrators?
NYU set a record. 120,000 applicants.
Kids are dumber these days.
92% of them got rejected.
Right, because colleges don't need
but
money.
They say that. They say 8% got accepted, which is an incredibly low number. But 92% of the people that applied,
yeah,
more than 9 out of 10 some people got partially declined, I guess. But like,
How do you get partially declined?
because 92%, so you do like out of 10 people, 9.2 people got declined with that 0.8 person really. Like, am I in? Am I out? Like, what am I doing here?
So confused right now. Yeah. Clearly,
Yeah.
my college education paid off.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, but the numbers are up. And there's a lot of talk about how the colleges, they want the numbers, right? They want more applicants because they get to lower the percentages. So then it automatically assumes that your college is a better school because less students got in here.
Yeah.
And so then they prey on kids to do it. I've read something else that said families are actually looking at building kids' college resumes starting in 6th and 7th grade.
Yeah.
And then there's like college counselors out there preying on that part of it to try to get, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So for anybody who's even stuck in this dilemma, and I'm being straight up real,
Yeah.
don't fucking do that. Right now, college needs to reinvent itself because it's a terrible fucking ROI.
Yeah.
Unless you're going for a very highly specific skill, like being an engineer or a doctor.
Okay. But think about how many people are going to school to be, I'm not hating on any.
Right, we need more engineers.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. But to say, oh, well, I'm going to send my kid.
So like NC State is a big engineering school. Apple's invested a lot of money there. And I don't know the numbers right now, but I know at some point earlier in the year, 8 students, I believe, in the engineering department had committed suicide.
Yeah.
At NC State. And they talked about how difficult school, and there's obviously a lot of deeper issues than just the math class you took. But some of the examples that kids were using is it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's a pressure cooker.
For sure. But also, it's never just one thing.
Right.
Couple that with things that Jonathan Haidt talked about in Coddling of the American Mind, is that you've also created this culture of safetyism for a large portion of this generation. So you have these fragile kids going into high pressure environments that may not have been too high pressure for us, right? Because our parents said, we'll see you when we get home from work. Here's the keys. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that type of situation. And you got kids that have been coddled most of their childhood. Talking about getting them prepared for college starting in 6th grade. I definitely believe that. I mean, we live right here where we are. I guess here, I live 5 minutes from here, but we're in one of the top school districts in the state of North Carolina, hands down, right? You've got J.M. Robinson, you've got McKee Road, you've got Providence High School.
Yeah.
So according to the numbers, and again, I think a lot of the way these things are rated are bullshit, but according to the numbers, J.M., very academic. So 6th to 8th grade, you're doing AP everything for the most part because they're getting you ready for Providence, which is academic hell if you're not academically inclined because it's rigorous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all to help you get into really good schools. But then my question always is, what's the end game? I'm going to go and get this degree in history at a really good school so that I can carry a whole lot of debt and come back and be a teacher where I'm underpaid? Oh, no. You should go on to get your master's and PhD so that you can become a professor. Sweet. When the vast majority of instructors or professors in colleges today are not tenured, they're adjunct faculty members, so they get paid dog shit, no benefits, nothing like that at all, and they're not on tenure track.
It's tough.
College is a big business. What's the ROI?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of that other than a fuckload of debt?
Yeah.
College has a good ROI in very, very specific instances. If you go to a big school like University of Chicago, right? The Booth College of Business, you're going there, it's the network.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good ROI.
Yeah.
Because they heavily recruit for finance.
Very hard to manage or to measure.
Very hard. Yeah. Well, it's, the education you get there and the education you get at UNC Chapel Hill could be the exact same.
Yeah.
But the network out of the Chicago Booth School.
Would you get good network at Chapel Hill?
Dude.
Or at a big state school? You're comparing it to maybe the best.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the ROI is good.
So Chicago's on that list.
Absolutely. When it comes to business. If you want to go work and you want to be an analyst at a top firm, whatever it might be, some of these top firms only recruit out of that school.
Right.
So you're guaranteed a position in that school.
Sure.
You don't have to be the top of your class.
If that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want to do. Well, that's why most people would want to go to school there.
Correct.
Right. And I'm not talking about undergraduate. I'm talking about getting their master's degree.
Going to work at a consulting firm.
Going to work at like T. Rowe Price. Going to work at, I don't know, trying to think of some of these others that recruit specifically out of that school. So that's what you're paying for. That's a good ROI because then you're going to make a shitload of money working as an analyst in this field, if that's what you want to do, or working, in some form or fashion.
And that's the big question. Is that what they want to do? Because that job that you take, and again, no judgment, if that's what you want and you're into it, but you're working all the time.
Of course, traveling all the time.
Midnight. Yeah. You don't have a life.
No.
They own you.
Right. So you better be really passionate about that.
Now, if you put in that time and effort and down the road that you could become partner, you could become this. And
Right.
that's great.
That's the carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Climb the corporate ladder.
But you get your start because you got accepted into this prestigious university. And this prestigious university has a deep network. Is the education itself any better than the education you get at UNC, NC State?
Yeah.
I don't know. Pick any, college. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
But the network is. That's where the real value is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the network. It's because I don't think you can measure the ROI a lot of times for the things that you gain out of college because it's also living on your own, becoming an adult, right? Meeting new people.
Right. But you can do that without taking on 6 figures of debt.
I get that.
Go get a fucking apartment.
I get that.
Go work at Best Buy.
Yeah. And I'm talking a lot about like kids your age.
Yeah.
Meeting people, right? All that kind of stuff.
No, of course.
I don't think college, like a lot of people, college is a terrible ROI. Okay. Yes. But doesn't mean it's something that you should not do it. It's just understanding the different options that exist. But there's like this whole competition going on now.
Yeah.
These numbers are being thrown at people because like if so-and-so gets into this school, they'll immediately go online and they'll look, what was the acceptance rate? Because they're trying to judge and they're trying to compare, well, that student got into this school and they have a high acceptance rate. So what is that? They must not be smart. And there's all these judgments being passed throughout the process and it's across the board. Whereas like not everyone wants to go to school to work in the bank, to be an engineer, to do this, to do that.
Right.
I don't know. Some kids want to be a teacher. Some kids want to do this. Some kids don't know what they want to do. Wow, there's an idea.
Did you know what you wanted to do?
No.
Of course not.
Yeah, you have ideas and the changes.
Like, man, higher education is...
I wanted to be a podcaster. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, here you are. Right?
Yeah, look at me.
You heard the story about the emperor, butt-ass naked.
Okay.
That's higher ed.
What?
He really appreciated looking a certain way, convinced all of his people that he looked a certain way. And then when he was walking through the streets to be admired by all of his people, nobody would actually point out that he was butt-ass naked wearing nothing. Because somebody sold him a bill of goods that said, I'm going to put this on you. And it's the most fancy, most wonderful clothing and attire you could ever ask for. It was nothing. Naked ass emperor. That should be the name of the podcast episode. Naked ass emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would just throw people off. They wouldn't know what. And then the next thing you know, you're talking about the Cleveland Browns and then all hell breaks loose.
You got to stop outsourcing our titles to ChatGPT because I'm like, these are not performing well. But naked ass emperor.
That's good.
SEO all day.
Is that a real story or did you just make that shit up?
The Emperor's New Clothes, man. I was just giving it a variation. Have you never heard of The Emperor's New Clothes?
I don't know.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Podcast
this
over.
Is a children's story.
Wow.
Not with all the vulgarity. It's not a naked ass emperor. The Emperor's New Clothes, man. It's like,
Okay.
I'm not even going to tell you the story.
I don't want to know it.
You need to go read it.
Fine.
You need to have your children read it to you.
Okay.
Ask your kids about it. You ever heard about The Emperor's New Clothes?
It's no different than Rebecca Black. I had no idea who she was. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, we used to listen to that all the time. I'm like, I didn't pick up on it.
Did they listen to it all the time?
They did. They talked about it. They
Your
made
kids?
fun of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They all knew about
fun of it.
Yeah. They're like, you didn't know what that was? What's wrong with you?
Luddite. Look at you.
YouTube.
How did this happen?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's good. So I was right though, by the way. 1.6 million.
Okay.
Applicants, class of 2023.
Yep.
So that is done now.
Okay.
The class that they compared to was a class of 1920, which was the last class that was not impacted by the pandemic because the applications had been in because that was in March.
You mean 2020?
Yeah, 2019 to 2020.
Okay,
like
you said 1920. I was like, are you talking about the Spanish flu? You're going way back in the pandemic.
Look at you.
I know.
That's why we memorized dates. That was 1918 or was it 20?
18.
Probably lasted a couple years.
I don't know the exact.
Yeah.
Come on, you know me.
But it was good. You pulled that up. But yeah, so that's a big increase. And a lot to do with test optional. So the Common App is you could just, it's not as simple as like.
Yeah, the SAT and ACTs were no
you
longer
don't have to
being
use it. So now it's like, it's a very holistic approach and everyone has a chance to get into our college.
Right.
They're like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
So if you get 120,000 applications at NYU, and they're not a huge university. Like
no, but they're considered prestigious.
Absolutely. But there's no way that they read all those applications. How could they?
Not. But ChatGPT did.
Ooh.
Yeah, that thing's riddled with bias.
So much bias.
I smell a lawsuit coming.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. But not really, because it's kind of predictable.
What do you think they're first, like, because you have to immediately cut 90,000 of those kids, like, without, like, ever looking at anything.
Yeah.
So if you're cutting 90,000, like, were they just GPA scores if they're submitting it? If they're from North Carolina? I don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, I do think that there's a bias toward out of state. Because New York University, is that a private institution?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's state run or?
That's a good question.
Yeah, but either way, the tuition is going to be higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out-of-state tuition is always higher.
Yeah.
In-state tuition. So they look at, this person's from out of state.
Largest private university in the US.
Oh, okay, great. So, I went to a
1831.
private university
Yeah.
out of state. So my tuition was higher. Probably why I got in. Because,
I
let's
love
be
this question.
honest.
What GPA do I need to get into NYU? Like 3.69. Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, you need that. And you need to show this deep resume from the 6th grade of all your public service and everything else.
Yeah. It'll be 3rd grade. I mean, they're going to have to go lower than 6th grade soon. Just, the competition's so severe.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man.
Yeah. It's not like no one's suggesting that it's a bad school. It's just understanding it. But I'm just like, what happens when you build up your resume? And now, let's say you start sophomore year.
Yeah.
And you've done all these things, right? And you didn't know 1.6 million applications would be the highest number on record, or NYU was going to get the highest number on record for various reasons, right? COVID being a reason, test optional, Common App, all these things. Now all of a sudden, now you apply to a bunch of schools and you don't get it into any of the schools that you really wanted to go to.
Yeah.
But you were told, if you do these things, you'll do it. So now you're set yourself up and you know someone that did get into that school.
Yeah.
And you thought you were better than them.
Yeah.
That's like a lifetime, if you're not careful, of dealing with that regret, of dealing with like fallout of that. Now, because I would say there's options out there for everybody. You want to go to college, you can go to college. You can go to community college. They'll take you right now.
But why does somebody want to go to college?
I'm just like...
No, it's just an honest question, right? Like, why did we go to college?
Because it was a thing to do.
Right. It was a thing to do. Why was it the thing to do?
Like, that's the next step.
Right. Because that's what's going to guarantee you a better paying job.
I enjoyed college.
No, I did too.
Yeah, I'm glad I went.
Yeah. No, I had lots of fun. I still carry debt,
Yeah. They were working on it, and then he got shut down.
Isn't that getting overturned? I don't know.
It might.
Who knows?
He's running for president again.
Oh, what a shit show. Yeah. Boy, I'm sure the country's real excited about Trump and Biden again.
It's the same thing.
Like two fucking geriatrics that like, one's completely insane and one's not even there. And it's just like, oh man, come on.
We've advanced nothing with those two.
No, of course not. I mean, our political system is sadly, it's dysfunctional because everybody is so obsessed with 15 minutes of fame. 15 seconds of fame is more like it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how about we highlight shit that actually gets done?
Yeah. I like Vivek. He's got no chance.
I've got a few of his interviews.
I don't know if that's how you say it, Vivek, because Vivek.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so that's college. But I think college, I'll say this, coming from overseas, people like America is seen as that's where you go to college. So if you're coming from the UK, your family, right, they all want to come to the US because it doesn't exist like that in other countries. No, there's not
definitely.
Good institutions. There are.
I mean, it's easy to shit on stuff too, right? I mean, I think we got to call bullshit on systems that don't work anymore. And this is not new. The educational system has been on a downward trajectory for some time. But when you have a certain paradigm that you live in for so long, a belief, an idea, a story that you bought into because it's part of the fabric of the country, it's very hard to just turn that thing and go, and to get mass adoption to say, yep, you know what, that's a shit ROI. We're not going to do this anymore. Because you still look at all the stuff that comes out. Oh, well, still today, people with college degrees and advanced degrees have higher paying jobs and so on and so on. It's like, that's today, right? We were still using that excuse 10 years ago too. But, if you really start to look at job security, the financial system, and just understanding how the world may be unfolding over the next 10 to 20 years, college, and professors know this. I talk to a lot of them, going over to Tennessee all the time. Administrators don't always know this. They will tell themselves a story. Nobody's going to stop going to college.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there is a certain inflection point where that ends, either because nobody has the money, the loan system gets upended, it just becomes far more
Interest
difficult.
Rates are so high right now. Like, it's just crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. You'd think that, people with all this massive amount of debt. So all the debt, it's not like that was a secret. Right? The conversation is about forgiving student loans because debt was so high and the return on that. I mean, if you die into your 90s with student debt, there are people today holding debt where the estimate right now based on their current income is like, you're going to still have debt by the time you're dead. And if you live to the age of 90,
jeez.
You tell me, like, how is that a good ROI?
No,
it's not. And on top of that, you're getting the interest rate. So if you're paying over time, like $60,000 debt from day one, turns into $100,000 of debt because of the interest rate.
Yeah.
You tell me, like, how is that a good ROI? We don't have job security like we did back in the 1900s.
Yeah. Well, think about today. If we fast forward 4 years, 5 years, when these kids are coming out of school, what happens? Because what if there aren't jobs?
Mhm.
which could be like we could be in a recession, or we could be in a fallout, or it could be not a lot of jobs, or ChatGPT's taking all these jobs. I don't know. So what happens, because to your point, you spend all this money and you can't get hired. Whether it doesn't matter where you went to school. That's tough.
And guess what can't get wiped off your record through bankruptcy? Student loans.
Yeah.
You got Joe Biden to thank for that. Senator Biden.
He's been in the office for a long time.
He has been.
Yeah.
And look, hey, from human to human, he just needs to step aside. It's cruel for him to run again. He doesn't have his faculties. Nobody wants to see him run again.
But chances are they don't have anyone else that can win, so they have to put him up. That's my guess. I don't know.
But that's also like the Democratic Party propaganda. I mean, they basically have a system like, whose turn is it?
Right.
Oh, we need somebody who can beat Trump. The only reason Biden beat Trump is because of COVID. They had no debates. I mean, honestly, can you imagine him and Trump up there debating? I mean, don't get me wrong, Trump's a dipshit.
Right.
But can you imagine those two debating? Trump would have just eaten him alive.
Yeah.
But no, he was basically campaigning from his basement. And they didn't allow any debates. And it was a controlled environment. It's like, and the economy was tanking. All this shit was happening.
I think they should have to both come on, saviors of the metaverse. So we just have a conversation. We don't want to ask questions about presidency. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, we just want to ask them like, hey, what do you think about ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No, I know. What do you think of Cleveland? It's a swing state. I mean, Cleveland's a big part of that.
I don't know, man. I
don't know.
I kind of always come back to this. Our politicians, when did they become celebrities? They don't give a fuck about you.
Social media.
Exactly.
Well, they've always been JFK, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, but those were real celebrities. Like they were.
I get it. Because they're in the news and there's only certain stations you had.
Right, sure. There was more of a controlled environment.
But to go on the college thing.
Yeah, we're going to keep on rocking this.
No, when you see the numbers like that, it makes me think of a bubble. It's like the stock went
Definitely.
so at some point, because you said it, is this sustainable? Because these things get out of hand and it's like NFTs. It's like all of a sudden things are going for $1 million. And it's not to say NFTs are bad. It's just NFTs at that value is not sustainable. So how is college at this level sustainable? Like is NYU or we're just using them because they were at the top of the story article. I mean, you can pick a different Cornell. It doesn't matter. UCLA, like you talk to people who went to UCLA back in the 70s. They're like, that was not a tough school to get into at all.
No.
Now it's like, there's no chance you're getting into UCLA.
Right, yeah. It all comes down to incentives, right?
Yeah. How is that sustainable? So it's like at some point that's going to change. But at the same time, it's like what an opportunity it is to go to college, right?
Yeah. If the cost was lower, to me, the reason why it's a bad ROI is not because college in and of itself is a bad thing. College in and of itself is a great thing.
Okay.
It's a great experience.
That's important that you said that.
Yeah. What I'm talking about is the actual numbers.
Yeah.
Unless you have an employer or you have scholarships, somebody else is paying for your college experience.
So don't you think more companies, so like, okay, so this is what Starbucks and Uber are doing. If you work at Starbucks, at a Starbucks owned, not like a campus owned Starbucks or like a whatever, or Uber, you have to have a lot of drives and you have to maintain that status and you have to maintain your job at Starbucks. They will pay for your education online, not in person, online at Arizona State. That's an example. So they have these different programs that they're developing.
So it's all just for Arizona State?
Well, that's their arrangement. So that's what I'm saying. But aren't more schools going to do it? Because you can go with Walmart, you can go to Target, you can go to Nike to say, or I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, all those are really just like incentives for, it's just like employee benefits, right?
Right.
I mean, the fact that our health insurance is tied to our employment, which, for you and me, it doesn't matter because we work for ourselves. But the fact that the majority of Americans, their health and the insurance that the thing that ensures that they can get treatment is tied to their job, it's kind of fucked up. An employer shouldn't have to bear that. I mean, I don't fall on either political, I'm very much independent.
Third party here again.
Oh, always have been. I think Republicans and Democrats just fuck off. Seriously, come on. But I may agree with them on various issues.
Sure.
One thing that a lot of people don't agree with me on, I mean, I was in health insurance and a broker for 12 years. And I'll be the first to tell you is that I think it's ridiculous that we have such an expensive healthcare system. It's riddled with waste. The treatment is not justified by the cost. And the fact that Americans have to pay so much money to get insurance just to get treated is fucking bullshit. If you live in this country, healthcare should be guaranteed. Now, am I saying that the government is the greatest, most organized and efficient function for delivering healthcare and coverage? No. I mean, sadly, bureaucracies don't function real well, at least in America. So I love when we always compare ourselves to Europe. It's just like, okay, first of all, they do a much better job of attracting the best and the brightest, whereas we do not do that. So there's a lot that would have to be fixed. But I do believe that healthcare is a human right. I think it's silly that you can't get a certain procedure done because you don't have a certain policy that costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
That's just fucking dumb.
So there's a point, I think one of the things you're saying too is like, if you work at a large company, you would have a healthcare package.
Correct.
But if you don't, and either you're unemployed, you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, you're self-employed, you can get health insurance.
Sure.
You have, not guaranteed, but you have an ability to get it. You have to pay basically an employee's salary to have health insurance, which is, I agree with that. So it's like, okay, cool. You got hired at Uber, which I think not that complicated to get it.
Though?
Right. So you have the job, but then you can get that education. So like, that's a good citizen, I would say. Someone who's working hard.
Yeah.
Has to maintain a quality rating so they can't be shitty at their job.
Right.
And then they are going to college in their spare time. They're getting better. I think that's amazing. But I also understand it's like, well, I work at this company. I work just as hard. I do just as many good things, but I can't figure that out. At the same time, you could go to community college and that's not that expensive.
Well, okay. So what's kind of baked into that discussion as well is this idea of fairness and everybody should have the same thing. The reality is that that's never happened in human history.
For sure.
Even in countries where, they're communist nations, where that was the ethos, that was the ideology, absolutely was not the case.
Right.
Right. If you were part of the ruling class in a communist dictatorship, right, you were part of the inner circle, you were doing better than the proletariat, right? You were doing better than them. It doesn't work. It's great for intellectual just philosophizing, but in practice, both capitalism and communism as economic structures, they're not foolproof. They don't always work. They can be manipulated and switched. So coming back to this, though, is this idea of the argument was like, well, I work just as hard as them. I do this. I do that. How come I'm not getting this? One of the things that I think makes America such an attractive place for so many people overseas, because people do want to come here, and for good reason, is that the whole thing about it's the land of opportunity. Well, that's true. Are certain things rigged? Sure. That's human nature. But to come over here and say, I'm going to make my way. I mean, just talk to any first generation immigrant family, right? They didn't come over here because they were like, yeah, fuck it. I just want to come over and do nothing. No, they came over here because they said, I have an opportunity to actually make my way. And they do it. And that is something that I think we always have to hold on to. So if you don't like your circumstances or your situation at a certain big company, you're already working at a big company.
Right.
You got options.
Yeah.
You got options. I'm just saying. It's all online. So you're also not getting what we talked about as the benefit of the college experience of, oh, you're around other people in this social environment and all the things that are there that are, again, great about the environment of college.
Yeah.
I had a blast. I wanted to be a college professor. Yeah. Those guys had a really great job,
Yeah.
Got a captive audience. Everybody thinks you're a god. I really wanted that.
Yeah.
Now my dog just thinks I'm a god, and that's problematic. Whatever.
Yeah.
But going back to all of this, we are flush with opportunities. But if we just pay attention to what the media and everybody else is telling us, you would think that there are no opportunities, which also falls into the whole coddling. We got to stop doing that. Like I've told you, I mean, we've just now started homeschooling our oldest son who's 12. He's doing really, really well. Because a lot of it he's doing on his own. He's working at his pace, but he's also getting the opportunity to figure out what it is that he really wants to do. Whereas if he was still in school, again, great school, great teachers, here's your runway. This is the path you need to be on. You're either college prep or you're not. So it's like the playbook's already been laid out for you.
Yeah.
And when there's so much going into that, because that is such a deep-seated part of the success of our country is college education, then the entire educational system is geared towards getting more people into that system without questioning whether or not it's actually giving back to the economy that thing is supposed to be just fundamental for success. Like if higher education is absolutely necessary for a thriving economy, nobody's asking, well, all these kids coming out riddled with debt, are they actually able to give back to this economy, actually be able to grow this economy, grow the country so that we're not just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
It's not. But if we keep telling ourselves the story, well, they're going to keep admiring a naked ass emperor.
There you go. Oh, you did that. That was like 7 minutes.
7 minutes in heaven.
Okay, real quick. The health insurance piece of it.
Yeah.
Because you're entitled to health insurance, but you'd be entitled to college, educate. Like there's all these things. So like,
sure.
I agree with you. I'm agreeing on the points most of the points that you
Yeah.
all of them, but there's like 7 minutes I probably lost
Oh yeah, I
conscious
probably
for a
lost
little
consciousness
bit.
myself. I was just rambling, but that's okay.
Yeah. So that's the hard thing with all of it. So it's like, hey, if you want health insurance, go get a job at a large company. The opportunity's there. I'm not saying you're going to get it,
Sure.
but if you try hard enough and you do the right things, chances are you can go find, like, you go work for an insurance company and work on the phones and get a healthcare package, get a 401k and do all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. But let's say company needs to make cutbacks.
I get it.
Yeah. Then you lose your health insurance. Then you're on Cobra, right? That's some
nice
shit right there.
Yeah. But at least you can keep your health insurance. So the option exists, because it could have been like, sorry, you're done.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like, you should have all access. I don't know. Here's the thing though.
Yeah.
What you said about opportunity in this country.
Yeah.
Whether it's this college or this high school, there's certain places I'm sure that's very difficult to get out of. There's no doubt. There's a lot of problems, and that's not necessarily what we're talking about. But if you have that, you have an opportunity to do something. I don't care what your college is called. Yeah. Most people do not care. I've interviewed people from Wake Forest, and I've talked to founders at Wake Forest, and they said, I've never wasted more money in my life. At the same time, I could say, yeah, but that's where you ran your job or your business, your entrepreneurial idea through their system, and you came out on the other end, and yeah, you did it.
Hold on, you're talking about like a degree in entrepreneurial?
No, they just built a product. They built a service.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, in some regards, it doesn't matter unless it's laid out for you. Yeah. I want to be an investment banker, and I want to do this, and my expectation is that, and I want to climb the corporate ladder. More power to you. Yeah. Like if I said that to you, you'd be like, couldn't do it. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to handle it. No, you wouldn't be a good employee.
Well, look, my brother-in-law is a perfect example of that. I admire the shit out of him, because even in our undergrad program, I knew him then. Here's a guy who since high school knew exactly what he wanted to do. Yeah. And he was the only friend I had that had a fucking clue about what they wanted to do. Like I told you, I applied to one college, and if I didn't get in, I was going to go to the Air Force with my two buddies from high school. I got in.
Yeah. And here you are.
Here I am. And I took 2 years
off.
off.
Friends with your brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've known him since I was a freshman in college. Wow.
So you knew your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I know my wife.
And I said you knew her. Like,
no. We met on our wedding day.
I was going to let you. It was an arranged marriage. That's how we do it.
Yeah. That's how it happens here. Yeah. But anyway, but he knew. And I've watched his career progress, and I've watched him go. I mean, he did great in undergrad, worked for one of the big three consulting and accounting firms for a while. He actually worked with Arthur Anderson around the time of Enron. And like when he was working there, then the whole Enron thing happened. Arthur Anderson got caught up in that, and they went bankrupt, and they were out, and then he moved
that's
on.
The whole point, yeah. But they all move around.
And then he got into Chicago Booth School of Business, but not on his first try.
Right.
But when he did get accepted, he fucking crushed it. Yeah. Like he was easily the top of his class, and he had several offers from big firms, and he's done extremely well. And you know what? He fucking deserved it.
Yeah. And he enjoys it.
He does. Yeah. And he's one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. But I mean, here's a guy who had clarity about what it is he wanted to do. He understood that world. He was interested in stocks in high school. Yeah. That's weird. But mad respect.
No, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there are people like that. And for folks like that, man, there's clarity. But I think too many kids are being funneled into a system. They have no fucking idea why. Yeah. Except they've been told from a young age, this is what it is to be successful.
For sure.
This is how you're going to be successful. So then everything in their brain is like, well, it's all about being successful. And successful is like this nebulous term that can be defined any which way you want.
For sure.
Right? I think we're successful sitting here on a rainy day on a Wednesday podcasting to 5 people. Success.
It's more than that.
I know.
Careful.
Definitely.
We have haters, remember.
I hope so.
And we have supporters.
And we do. But we're only going to focus on the haters because that's also human nature.
It's all of them. We respond to all comments.
And we love them all.
You know what? Because that one person who kept on going back, they said, that was funny. They said, does anyone watch this? It's only got 26 likes.
Oh, yeah. And then I said...
And you said, wrong. We had 27 likes. And that person came back and said, well, 30 minutes ago, you had 26. You're like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
What's so funny about that is by the time that those comments, it was at to 60 something.
Right.
But it's just like, it doesn't matter. I get it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
we want the comments.
We do.
And we do actually comment back on them.
Yeah.
It makes us feel special.
Of course.
Because we need that.
Yeah. I love it.
We need that.
I love specialness.
We need you to either hate us or love us or just, be indifferent. But we would like you to give us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen to this on. And you could leave us the shittiest review, but give us 5. 5 stars, shitty review.
But Apple's the only one. Oh, Audible. Audible allows you to write a review, like actual comments.
Oh, we should game that.
Amazon should.
Yeah.
Amazon for like reviews now.
Yeah.
You can, they call it ratings.
Are we on Audible? Oh, we're on Amazon Music?
We're on everything.
Okay. I like that.
I think so. Yeah.
So good. We're everywhere.
Good. We are everywhere.
Yeah.
So you go on Audible and you can write a review. But Amazon, when you buy a book or a product, it used to be just reviews. So you have to write something.
Yep.
Now you don't have to write anything. You just rate it. So it goes both ways, because I could be a hater and I could hide and give you a 1 star because I just don't like you, Jared.
I get that a lot.
I like podcasting Jared. I don't like regular Jared.
No, I don't like regular Jared either.
Okay.
I've given myself bad reviews.
Okay, so you give 1 star.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything. And so you're like, who gave me the 1 star? And it's like, I bet you it was somebody else.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I know I gave myself a 1 star.
It was that YouTube person. You have a stalker hater.
I do?
You like Taylor Swift kind of thing.
Oh, I am kind of like Taylor Swift in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Except I don't have nearly as much talent. Not as pretty as Taylor Swift. Close. You know, if I got rid of my beard, I don't know. Am I saying all this out loud? Just coming out. Shit. Edit that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. It's really good.
I enjoy it.
Man, what else we got here on this document?
Man. I'm reading Netanyahu's book, and he talks about when he was in certain cities in the US and he saw the technology, he made sure that he brought that technology to tell it. That's why
Israel doesn't fuck around, man. They have
crazy.
like long-term plans, plan. Now, a lot of that too, of course, is just they have to. When you're surrounded by, hostilities, or if that's where you live, you've got to be thinking long-term.
To make something, you have to contribute something, right? Because he talked a lot about Israel and about if you don't do anything with the land, like what is that land? Like you occupied it, but you didn't do anything to it. You didn't make it better. It's not contributing back to you. Like you can't grow crops, or there's no technology, there's no economy there. And so it was very important to him to create an economy out of this, to do so. And now it's like a destination.
Oh, yeah. I would go there in a heartbut. We need to go over there.
Let's go there.
We need to just start
podcasting
slamming
there.
SEO just for Israel, just to see if we can get some listeners.
I like that.
Yeah.
Who else would like us? Who's our target market? YouTubers.
I tell you what, man, here's something that's really interesting. That's the, kind of the opposite, at least on a geopolitical scale, of Israel. Iran, not their government, but the Iranian people, like very smart, lots of ingenuity over there. You don't hear much about it because all the attention is shown to, just the crazy fucks in government. And that's the thing. I think anytime we try to stand up and back a politician, like, oh, this is a good guy. It's like, let's not forget they're politicians. They're slimy by nature. And I'm not being sarcastic. That's just to go into that is all about being like, hey, this is about,
I don't slimy is the word you could use for everybody.
Yeah, sure. I mean, slimy is like certain people are just, but
I get it.
I mean, anybody who's like just a pure, like, hey, I'm really here just to do good. Yeah, they're going to get smashed out pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to what you were saying about the media and all this. It's like, if we're out here reading something and taking everything as truth, like you have to, like you even did, even if your comment back to me was wrong, it's like, well, that was the year that the pandemic was going on. So of course the numbers would be higher. So it's not to say that, well, you were wrong, but you were seeking out more data, or like, you're seeking truth.
Exactly. Like what are all the variables? So when you're talking about the different
and
cities,
you couldn't possibly know the answer at the end, even if you found the truth that like a lot of these things there isn't any. Yeah.
Well, I mean, anytime certain studies or statistics are sent out, my first question is always like, all right, well, what are the variables used to come up with this data? Anybody who ever says, oh, I just want the facts, I'm like, well, those don't exist.
Yeah.
Facts, because number one, nobody's going to pay attention to just facts. They have to be interpreted into a story.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if you can recognize that, then you're not so, I can't believe they're trying to manipulate in the story. Really? What fucking planet are you on? That's how humans have thrived and evolved to the levels that we are at, is because we tell really great fucking stories.
Yeah.
And we inspire action.
Is that why like these short form videos have just like driven all of us to just, and then you believe it and you go down the train of thought of like whatever that thing is, and the algorithm just supports it constantly. And you hear it over and over again,
you
start thinking that way, especially if you're younger and your brain isn't necessarily seeking out the truth. You're like, well, I heard this. And you hear it enough times and you're like, okay, that's the thing that's college, to say, well, guess what? If we can convince them to apply to our school, first of all, we get an application fee.
Of course, it's a business. Yeah. And I'm not faulting them for that.
Well, yeah. And then if we raise prices, they'll just complain about it. But guess what they'll still do? They'll still send us the check. How much money are they making?
Right, because you can take out a loan to it.
But they've convinced you in this way.
Yeah, okay, so let's go meta here. right? So I don't look at colleges. Now I can shit on the ROI all day long, but I'm not looking at colleges individually like, you know what? It's all them. They're just fucking with people. They're just trying to manipulate you. No, it's they're incentivized for this. The problem is that we have to reevaluate the incentive structure that we have in our country. So if we have to think long term about, well, what does success in America look like? Well, countries that do well invest in their population. We don't do that on aggregate. We don't do that. I mean, we're going to keep jacking up healthcare prices. I mean, boy, Obamacare, that really worked out, didn't it? Going to lower healthcare? Bullshit. Costs keep going up and up and up. And he turned that shit over to the insurance companies who are incentivized to make money. So, of course, they're going to bend the policy that is in favor of them and doesn't obliterate them completely. Dumb move. Well, we want to get everybody at the table. Why? I'm not saying be a steamroller, but my point is that you have to look at incentive structures. So if we value education the way that we talk about it, the way the story is presented in our country, then we have to make a pathway that is both affordable, that has a clear ROI, that's a news story that's like, this is how this is going to contribute to future generations, right? So that people are inspired to do this, not because they're like terrified that their kids aren't going to have a job, terrified my kid's not going to be successful. I'll tell you what, if you're coddling your kid now all the way up until the time they go to college, they're not going to be successful. They're going to be a hot fucking mess. You know what they're going to blame for it? You. You're like, but I did all this stuff for you. Yeah, stop. Like, let them suffer a little bit, you know, like the old days, right? I'm not saying beat them. Let them suffer a little bit. Like let them figure out. Like, that's why, like I've said, I'm raising my kids as Brown fans because I'm like, life does not turn out the way you want it to.
How different would you be if the Browns were like 5-time Super Bowl champions? Every year they're winning. All of a sudden, little Jared's like, I just show up and everything works out. The Browns are champions every year.
That must be what it's like to be a Patriots fan. Of course, they haven't been doing great.
But we should do a future study on how those kids, when they were like in their middle school, high school years, and all of a sudden they're like, they thought success was going to be handed to them.
I dropped out of the Browns fan club for 15 years, man, because I just didn't give a shit. Clearly, I didn't even know what red zone.
I know.
You
didn't know what red zone was. You don't say no.
I still don't. You know.
So all those successful.
I don't know. I mean,
teams, that's a good study.
I definitely think being a Browns fan, you know, I mean, number one, I was raised that way, but it wasn't really pushed down my throat. Not like the way I'm pushing it down my kids' throat. I am shoving it in their faces.
It's just to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, but well, exactly. I'm like, hey guys, check it out. I mean, this is actually true. You know, I'm being ridiculous on purpose, but this is true. My dad and my mom, so my dad's the one who raised me as a Browns fan, and my mom's a Panthers fan. I'm like, that just shows your lack of intelligence. Because what a fucking shit show. It's like, you know, Browns fan making fun of the Panthers. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we suck, but we've sucked longer.
Yeah.
And we love it.
Yeah.
And hate it. My son was, like, for instance, he saw I got this. He goes, oh, I want one of those. I said, you can actually wear it out in public. He was like, no, but I can wear it around the house. It's like, I'm not paying that for you to wear around the house, because he was embarrassed to wear his brown shit to school when he was still at school. Because I think one time in elementary school, another kid was
said some shit.
Yeah, but I said, dude, the kid's a Steelers fan. He's supposed to. He is obligated by law to talk shit to you. And you're obligated by law to talk shit to him.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the law? And it's just like, we don't need to talk about that. You know, he was too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have to get into nuance.
Talking shit. That's a good word to use for kids.
Yeah, I was like, that's just what happens, man.
Yeah.
You know, Steelers, I've got friends that are Steelers fans. We talk shit all the time. I'm usually on the losing end of that because we're losing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I don't really care that much.
What happens when they win the Super Bowl?
I guess I'll be a Panthers fan.
That's the point. Because you need another climb.
You do. It's about the journey.
This podcast is about the journey.
It is. But something about the Browns, and again, I'm just pontificating off the top of my head, which I know is not normal for me to just spew shit out, you know, off the top. But if the Browns actually got to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, it just wouldn't feel like the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to go through an entire new, like, reinvention, a new identity.
That's the Cubs and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
The Cubs were the lovable losers. And then they won. Who'd they beat? Cleveland to win the World Series. I mean, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So Cleveland hadn't won since 1946. The Cubs hadn't won since early, like, forever. So they were like more the ones that people were like, what the fuck Cleveland for? Like, what'd they do? Like, shouldn't they win a World Series? No,
they should.
They should lose in Game 7 in a rain delay. They come back and tie it. The rain comes and then they lose all the momentum and the Cubs win. But it's like, so when the Cubs win, it doesn't feel like the Cubs anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're World Series champions. They're the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox, the curse of the Bambino, whole thing happens. Then they win multiple World Series.
Yeah.
So it's like, That's cool. They got a cool historic ballpark and all that. And I guess Wrigley Field is too, but you get what I'm saying? Like, now what?
Yeah, if the Browns are no longer the underdog, it's like
the Browns are going to win it every year. Which, okay, so I can end this conversation real quick because guess what? They won't win it.
Exactly.
But they could.
Yeah. Which is why we always tell ourselves, even I saw a guy at my kid's football game.
Yeah. Your kid plays football?
Yeah, he plays both of them play flag
football.
Yeah.
So they're not hitting each other in the head, getting concussions and...
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
The younger one, they do wear helmets, which is funny.
The soft helmets?
No, they're like full on hard helmets.
What the hell are they doing that for?
Because they're little kids. They will run into each other.
Yeah, but if they do, that causes issues. Because a lot of times, like the 7-on-7 football they play, like
they're not doing 7-on-7.
I know that, but they're not wearing hard helmets because you fall down, you could hit someone in the knee, break their kneecap. That doesn't feel good.
Sounds like you need to read Coddling of the American Mind.
Yeah.
These kids need a little bit of
TBI.
TBI.
That's what the helmet's for. I get it.
Yeah.
What? Browns are. Oh, go ahead.
What were you talking about? Another Browns fan. Yeah, it was another coach, and he was wearing a Browns shirt. I've actually seen a lot of Browns fans that are coaching Mara football.
For sure.
It's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, liking that shirt, man. I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, this is, and we're both going like, this is going to be our year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a constant joke.
I think they're 12th in odds to win the Super Bowl.
12th. It's not bad.
They're plus 2,800 to plus 3,500. So it's not, the Chiefs are 1, 49ers 2, Bills 3, Eagles 4, Bengals 5.
Yeah.
The Browns are 12th
that's better than.
Well, it's better than 28th. Better than
where the Panthers
Houston Texans.
Oh, the Texans are shit.
The Panthers? No one even cares about. I don't think they're on their list.
Are they still a franchise?
That's what I'm saying.
They shouldn't be.
They're down towards the bottom third.
Yeah. So like what?
They have the first
29?
pick in the draft, which by the time this airs, the draft will have happened.
Yeah.
So that's in that universe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been some rumblings with the Browns that they might let Chubb go, not because he's not good, but because with Deshaun Watson, you win with Chubb because you're a running team.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson is a passing quarterback. That's where he's really good.
Yeah.
And he can run himself.
Sure.
Right? But he's, at least on paper.
It's a big year for him.
It could be. This could be massive. I'm really optimistic.
They owe him a lot of money still, don't they?
Damn right. I mean, I think they restructured his contract to make some cap space.
Yeah.
I saw something really interesting. There's a guy who's podcasting, but he was 45 minutes and he was going through the publicly released documents that have been out from the beginning about the Deshaun Watson cases. Have you seen this?
I'm not.
Yeah. So it's actually like the testimonials and, what was actually in there because the media, really spun this as a criminal case.
No way.
Yeah.
They did?
Oh, okay, yeah. Believe it or not. I know. That's hard to believe that the media would leave out facts.
Yeah.
But essentially, the way this was read, and you can access all the these are the transcripts from the hearing. And the reason why 2 grand juries wouldn't indict, which again, you've heard people say a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich, unless you're a cop, right? It would indict a ham sandwich. Like it's not hard to get an indictment. And 2 grand juries wouldn't do it because of there just was no evidence of any criminal activity. The testimonial or the testimonies of the witnesses or the folks that were saying that these things happened, there was tons of evidence that was to the contrary, like actual DMs and everything back and other witness testimony that was.
Jeez. So what were they doing? Why were there so many women after him?
Yeah. Oh, well, Tony Busby was going out and finding them.
So he's recruiting.
Yeah. And look, I'm just saying like.
That's. Yeah, I get it.
There definitely seems to be a lot of evidence toward that. Again, I'm not saying, hey, this is the fact here, but I do think if you really want to understand something, you got to take the time and read what was actually happening. And essentially, there's this process of if we can keep dragging this out and run the narrative as long as we possibly can, it's going to keep you preoccupied. You're eventually going to cave, fork over the money. If you don't, we're going to keep ruining your career.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a really fucked up thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, I was always a little suspicious because 2 grand juries wouldn't indict. And then it goes to civil court, so the civil suit against him, the NFL, and then they took it to the judge, to be the non-biased arbiter of this process. And the way that commentators were talking about this was like, well, the NFL and this judge agreed that, he committed sexual assault. And I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. That is a felony. They did not agree to that. That's not the case at all. Right? They agreed that he violated the code of conduct. That's not the same as committing sexual assault.
Right. That's a league policy, right? That's different.
Yeah, exactly. And then she was like, hey, well, 6 games. And the NFL came back and said, no, we don't like that. So I really say, I don't know, it's just screwy. I've become just more and more disenchanted with the media.
Yeah, you can't listen to what they say.
I mean, I've always known, like, well, there's always going to be like a spin on this, spin on that, but they've just got so much. I mean, because again, it's how they're incentivized. They're incentivized for outrage. They're not going to tell you,
think
hey,
about how much competition they have. There's so much.
oh my God.
They got to compete with us.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
people are referring to podcasts now when they're on articles. They're obviously they're doing that, but like not podcasts from CBS Network
No.
or NBC Studios
Or NPR.
Right.
Nothing
No.
like, yeah.
They're referring to people who do a podcast out of a conference room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so I'm saying with our Apple equipment, which I was thinking about that earlier when you were talking about the Apple story.
Yeah.
And there's our iPhones.
Don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about us.
No.
That's right, man.
No.
I'm going to start my own phone
Sean's
company.
going to make 46 mil this year.
Yeah, good for him.
No, I'm not judging.
I know.
That's awesome. Jeez. Steelers fan would have a totally different outlook on what you just...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's the fun of it.
Yeah. If he really just blows it up this year, that will be more defining, I think, than, all this shit that has happened in the past couple of years.
Yeah. This could be the year.
Yeah, definitely. And again, all that to say, too, is that I don't know, right? And of course, obviously, would never condone sexual assault or misconduct. I just think, I don't know, man. It's just all part of this culture where, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go down that philosophical rabbit hole right now. That's like a whole other episode.
It's a different vibe today than it was last time.
Well, last time I was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was more humor.
Oh, you don't think there's enough humor?
There's some humor.
I don't remember much of the last podcast.
There's some storytelling in this one.
Oh, it's good.
This is good.
Yeah, I started taking an online course on how to be a good podcast host.
Yeah.
Not really.
You can take an online course on how to write an essay, your college application.
Yeah, you put it in ChatGPT.
You get an essay coach. That's a job. So instead of looking at college as a negative in the whole application process, because I went, let's say I went a little negative there, there's job opportunities out there. If you're a good writer, you could go and say, hire me, and I'll be your essay coach. Which, I mean, you could use ChatGPT for that too. But
totally.
But my point is, like, what are the opportunities that exist in that space to say, well, there's all these baby boomers on the road and they're driving recklessly and they're going to be all living in a long-term care facility. It'd say,
whoa,
there's a lot of content. There's a lot of media stuff going on about the aging baby boomers and what are we going to do with them? But it's like, what opportunities exist? Because you know what there's a shortage of? Long-term care facilities.
Yeah.
So let's go buy some real estate and you could own the long-term care facilities. That's a lot of money.
That right there is Medicaid fraud waiting to happen.
Why is that?
Oh, dude. Or Medicare fraud.
Oh, they're definitely.
Because that's how it always has.
I'm not committing fraud.
No, you're not. One of my associates had, when I was in the insurance business, she worked not for me because all of them were 1099s, just like me. But she was part of my team. Big client in Raleigh. Yeah, they were dealing in long-term care. Man, they had like a couple thousand employees. So that was a good get.
Mm.
Yep. It was all fraud. It's fucked up.
A lot of fraud today.
A lot of chargebacks on that one.
Oh, that's not fun.
Yeah, man. Fucks your no pay rate and everything else. Oh,
Yeah, buddy.
that was no good. But everything else was fine. But that you just started to learn when that happened. You started to realize, oh, this happens a lot. So we went back through the books and we're just looking at what other clients do we have that might be in this type of industry that we need to be a little more diligent about.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. When we were starting the marketing stuff, I remember we had some companies that did roofing, garage doors. And it's not to say that the companies we were working with were bad.
Yeah.
But when you started to see that, like the competition and what they were doing, and for example, setting up, so if they were running Google ads, like to rank higher, just sponsored ads, once those things are clicked on, they charge every single time.
Of course.
So these companies had set up places where they would just literally click on the competition's ads all day long.
Oh,
So dirty. And then they were setting up like fictitious companies here, which they weren't fictitious. They were doing it, but they didn't have like home bases here. They were like run out of Houston, Texas or something like that. And they're all of a sudden, it's like, where did this company come from? How are they ranking number one on Google? They've never been here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't exist here, but they do. And they're hiring, they're outsourcing it to a third party to go do the service work from their garage door.
Yeah.
And then they run the Google reviews on the back end of it to try. Oh my God, it was so dirty. I'm like, this is a no-win situation. I'm not saying that you can't make money in that business and things can't work, but I don't want to deal in that.
No.
It was brutal.
Yeah, that's nasty.
I mean, the roofers are known for insurance fraud.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how did they go, once they find a neighborhood that's about 10 to 15 years old, they wait for a storm. So it's raining right now. If there's a little bit of hail mentioned in the news, they get to do all the roofs, $17, $15, $10, $20,000.
Yeah.
Pop. Boom.
Yep. Insurance covers it.
So crazy. They'll hire the adjuster. Adjuster will come over and they'll approve it.
Yep.
Fix the shit up.
Yeah.
And everyone has a new roof. We should be roofers.
One of my neighbors got his roof replaced that exact same way
Yeah.
because of hail
Oh, they'll
damage.
do it.
And he said, hey, can you guys come check this out?
Oh, they have it. They'll find one shingle.
Oh, no. Replace the whole thing.
I
Well,
know
can't
what I'm
just replace
saying.
one shingle.
They'll find a shingle, and
Mhm.
that's the evidence that there was hail.
Yeah.
Of course, you've had the house for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's damaged somewhere.
Uh-huh.
We should be roofers.
Yeah.
We could podcast on a roof. We'd have to rope ourselves up, though.
You especially.
Yeah, yeah.
You are not
the
coordinated.
fall would not. No, I could make it, but if something,
Come on.
yeah.
No.
No.
I couldn't lose you off the ledge.
It'd be a good podcast.
It would be a great podcast. I think it would.
It'd go viral.
Well, yeah. We
Yeah.
definitely need to make sure we have multiple angles.
Get on TikTok. Here's a fun experiment. You get on TikTok,
Yeah.
just grab a video, like just maybe search for a video or just look long enough and you'll see something say, I don't know, something like a car crash, a plane crash, or whatever. And then you see another one. And you know what they do? They
What?
just feed you that shit over and over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
So screwed up.
Well, what's so unique about that? I mean, that's how the algorithm works. It's what keeps you in an echo chamber.
Almost immediately, the algorithm will switch.
Yeah.
So you can fuck with the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're actually watching your face. If you smile or if you have outrage, if you laugh or whatever, they got your body metrics.
I've been paying a lot more attention to conversations I've been having with folks that are maybe about something that I don't normally talk about. And then noticing 24 hours later, I'm seeing things that kind of answer that question in my YouTube feed.
Oh, yeah. Cleveland Brown shit's going to be all over you.
Well, that's because I'm subscribed. I mean, I get that stuff anyway. That's what I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about something that I don't normally look at,
Yeah.
it starts to show up.
Mm. Plane tickets to Tel Aviv's coming on your way.
I bet there will be. I'll start getting advertisements for Israel.
Yeah.
Almost certain. I'll take screenshots and send them to you too.
Please do. Maybe some other ones too. Health insurance, maybe?
Probably. I see that stuff.
No.
Oh my God. I don't know what list I'm on, but I get texted all the time. Hey, self-employed Cigna. I'm just like, report junk. I get all this stuff. It's crap.
It's pretty bad.
So an example of this about the phones listening, I was in Denver, got to see two of my buddies who were, they were like family when I was in high school. So my junior and senior year, and we've stayed in touch. And we were all hanging out and just telling stories. And my buddy, Jeff, this is great. So his older brother, Justin, and I were sitting there, and Jeff was just talking about, he used to be in the Air Force. He was one of the guys I was going to go join the Air Force with. Apparently, he's gotten into a lot of physical altercations over the years that I just had no idea about. I mean, not a ton. Like, it's not, but I mean, Jeff's not somebody who's going to sit there and just like take it. He's going to do what he's got to do. And so we were just talking about those experiences and whatnot. And he was telling us some stories, and not in a braggadocious way. In fact, he was very self-deprecating. Like, this shit was ridiculous. That night, I pull up YouTube and there's videos about fighting in close quarters. Stupid shit, some stupid shit. But it was very much related to the conversation we had.
Yeah.
I was like, look at that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen videos like that for a while. But all of a sudden, we have that conversation and we're talking about that for a certain amount of time. And here they are showing up in my feed.
Did you change your settings?
No.
You don't give a shit.
Not really. Because I'll change them and then they'll just change them back.
That is true. Your buddy Mark was doing a lot of that.
Mark and I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk to him again. Just see how he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing okay. He's doing just fine. I mean, the metaverse isn't working out at the moment, but it could change.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
I just, the last time I put virtual headset on, I don't remember either.
I do.
When was the last time you did it?
Like last year.
Yeah.
And I kicked a chair. I wasn't
that's
supposed to. I
You're
told
like,
you that.
I'm done.
Done.
I'm out.
I felt like I was being attacked. That's a fictitious thing that was coming. It wasn't fictitious. It was my reality.
Yeah, your brain doesn't know the difference.
And there's a bullet shooting, but it's coming at slow motion.
You were playing hot VR or
I
something?
don't know what it was.
So yeah.
I don't know. I just put on whatever. I played whatever they put on the headset.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty cool for a second.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You can get a really good workout on those things.
Oh yeah, this was like 2 minutes into whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not built for this.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
We should probably say that one for the next episode.
Yeah. I'm not built for this.
Yeah.
That's the title of it.
You're the total package.
Thank you, buddy.
Definitely.
See ya.
Later.